Come on in, welcome to my home. I have a question for you. Why do we think we have to get everything done in a day? We don't. We really don't. But I mean, how did this come up? How did it become the thing where everybody's like, well, if I started in a day, I have to get it done in a day? I think there are a lot of factors in this and a lot of things to unpack, starting with what we think actually gets done in a day. I know for me, a lot of people think that I do some things that I don't actually do. Oh, wow. I can't believe you did all this in one day. I don't get all this done in one day. All this decorating in one day. Oh, no. Well, you know, putting all this out, cleaning it, getting all ready. I could never do this all in one day. No, this takes days. You didn't? I have to pull the stuff out, clean the stuff which is going to go out, then I'm going to have to take the stuff down, clean the stuff which is coming down, and put out the stuff which is going out. Oh no, and then there's the whole planning. What do you mean it takes more than one day? No, this can take like a week, 2 weeks, sometimes even months to pull all this together. It just goes out in one day. It doesn't necessarily get pulled out that day or get put back all in one day. It just goes out in one day. But I've seen TV. I know that they do it all in one day. When it comes to my day and what I get done in a day, I mean, what you might see is just what's on the surface. You might just see the getting everything finalized, the finish line, versus what goes into it. Now, I am going to do a video where I talk about planning some of the things that I do. I know that there are three holidays coming up, or 3 big changes coming up to my house. That would be fall, Halloween, and Christmas. And if you would like to see me do a video about the planning of those, let me know down in the comments, because it takes a lot more than what people think. It takes a lot more than just waking up in the morning, grabbing out a few totes, and putting things up. Nothing works that way. And another thing that people think about is the fact that, well, we watch TV and we know that you see these programs where they have hoarders who have all of this stuff in their house, and in less than a week they have an entirely redone house. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I could do that. If I had the one that I just recently watched had an entire fire department come and help, and then all of the crew on the show, and then all of the family members of the people on the show, and it's just like, well, yeah, I could do that. But that's the problem, is we look at this and we say, well, that's the reality, when in fact it's a manufactured reality. When it comes to social media and manufactured reality, I can manufacture any sort of reality that I want to in a matter of minutes. Like, here, let me step to the side. Hopefully you can see that clock. Pay attention to it, because I can make it seem like whenever I want it to. Hang on. Oh, hey, look, it's getting towards evening. Let me turn a light on. Yeah, it's getting kind of late. I should go to bed soon. First thing in the morning, boy am I tired. Maybe the sun is coming up from the office. We'll have to check. A nice sunrise coming up, and maybe I can manufacture almost any sort of reality that I want simply by changing lights, because you can see time hasn't changed. Nothing's changed. I put on a robe, it's a little bit later, everything is the same. So what you see on social media as this was all done in a day might actually not have happened that way at all. And is that a bad thing? Well, no, not really. But it does give us this weird perception of what other people can do in a day versus what we can do in a day. And that's not even taking into account what other people actually have to do versus what we have to do in a day. Maybe you are the one who has to take everybody someplace, or you make dinner, or you have like a million other things that you have to do. Those have to be figured into when you're planning on what you can actually do in a day. And then the next part about this is, so what happens if it doesn't get done all in one day? Do the all-in-one-day police come and take you away? I don't think so. I don't think there's an all-in-one-day police squad. Here's the thing. If you don't get it all in one day, and you have to finish it over a week or 2 weeks or whatever, as long as you are working on it and working towards it, you're doing well. You're probably doing better than most who've never even started the task. So you're working towards the end, which means that's okay. Now, are there going to be those moments where you're going to have to push through and get it all done in a day? Oh, yeah. Yeah, those come up. I mean, I've had those quite regularly, where I've had to do things way late into the night because it did have to be done all in one day. There was a deadline. But sometimes there's only a deadline that we impose upon ourselves, and that can be good and that can be bad. It's something to think about. Which do you work better on? Do you work better on this tight deadline where if you don't get it all done, you'll turn into a pumpkin? I don't think so. I think that was just Cinderella's coach. I mean, there are so many things to think about why we feel we have to do it all in one day. Because we shouldn't. We shouldn't feel that much pressure to get all of these things done unless we know that it is something that is really, really simple to do. And even then it becomes a case of, is it really good for you to get it all done in one day? Because if it's not, if you need to take a break, but you are just pushing yourself forward because, well, you can do it. You can get it all done in one day. Well, that's great, but you have to look at your mental health. You have to look at your physical health. You have to look at your limitations. Sometimes your limitations don't allow you to get everything done in one day. And I want to tell you that that is okay. Just get as much done as you can and know when to stop. Because even if you stop to just take a break, just relax, just to save yourself the hassle and all the stress and everything, that's fine. Because when you start back up, you might get more done than what you thought that you could get done. And our highly unrealistic expectations of ourselves can sometimes lead us to huge, huge problems. What can you get done in a day? Because physical limitations are physical limitations. Can you go to the store, go to every single store, pay your bills and everything all in one day? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I don't know, but you can be the judge of this if you judge these things realistically. And that's the problem. We have a tendency not to judge things realistically at all. We look at a task and we highly underestimate the amount of time that it's going to take. How long does it take me to get from one place to another? That is an important thing to know, especially when I think that I can just teleport from one spot to another. I've had people who've asked me if I could go from one place to another, which is about 45 minutes away from each other, in 15 minutes. It's just like, well, no, I can't. And that's the thing. You have to think about realism. You also have to prepare for problems. Will a train cross your path and you're going to have to wait for it? So planning ahead, planning for the unexpected will help you with the whole, hey, I can't do everything in one day, nor should I have to. It's a whole entire thing which people put on themselves usually because they think that they can do more than what they can. Will you ever be in a situation where you expect it to do something which you realistically can't do in one day? I've had those situations. I've had bosses expect me to do things. I've probably told this story. If you're on my Patreon, you've probably heard this, where I had my boss's boss expect me to put on a play for them. It was a Wednesday. They wanted the play on Saturday for a group of people that they had coming in. Well, that's not happening. It was an unrealistic expectation. The other one which I had was they wanted me to teach a class that what it was is I would get paid to teach the class. Cool. But I would have to drive an hour to the class, an hour back from the class, and then I would have to make up those 2 hours that I was driving. And I'm like, I'm already coming in at 6 in the morning. I don't want to be there from 6 to 5 every day. Well, 5 days a week. And it's just like, well, but it would be extra money. Well, that's not the point. The point is, it couldn't be done. And that's okay. I couldn't do everything in one day that they were expecting me, that they were wanting me to do. And there should be nothing wrong with saying no. Being expected to do all of this stuff in one day is just unrealistic. Don't be unrealistic. I personally have no idea when this whole get everything done in a day idea came up. And I tried researching it. I tried researching it a lot. And you just can't pinpoint it down to 1 or 2 events. You just can't find something that says, back in my time, everything became do it in a day. Well, no. I mean, yeah, there's lots of times when you're on a vacation, you want to get as much in on that vacation as you can in a day. Lots of times you're not. There are lots of times when you are pressed for time. But a lot of that comes to bad planning. And like I said, there's a planning video coming up where I talk about how I plan for things. But making your life so stressful that getting everything done in a day becomes not just a mantra, but this crazy way of life that you really can't do, that's just going to make you crazy. That's just going to give you extra stress, which you do not need in your life. And I mean, you really don't need it. And so once you stop feeling the fact that you need to get it all done in a day, you just realistically need to get it done in a reasonable amount of time, and reasonable is up to you. So, yeah. So, the next time somebody tells you, well, I got everything done in a day, you can tell them, well, good for you. I'm happy for you. This is taking me a little bit longer. You don't need to give an explanation. You don't need to give anything else. You just know that you are working the best that you can on it, and that's fine. Don't compare yourself to everybody else. Don't force yourself to do something that there realistically isn't time to do. You just want to make sure that you do it. So that, I guess that's the big thing. Don't worry about getting everything done in a day unless you know that if you don't do it in that day, you're never going to do it. Then you might want to push for that. But if you don't get it all done in one day, it's okay. I think we'll live. Just get it done as soon as you can and keep working on it. That's all one can ask. Well, what do you think about that? What do you think about this whole philosophy of it all has to be done in a day? Let me know down in the comments if you're interested in seeing some of the behind the scenes where you get to see how I don't get everything done in a day. You can join Patreon, you can join the memberships where we do the vlogs behind the scenes and you see what actually happens to get what looks like everything is seamlessly done. I hope you enjoyed that and I hope I get to see you the next time you stop by.